Zohran Mamdani, considered a social fascist by the sweatiest Maoist third worldists of the world, and I think considered the bastion of hope by many that consider themselves to be on the left. A man that both liberals and Republicans alike seemingly have fallen in love with, despite the fact that he is a 34-year-old Muslim socialist anti-Zionist. We know him as Mr. Cardamom by his old name. Here at the HasanAbi broadcast, Zohran Mamdani has a lot of riz, and he's using that riz for good. He did a lot of things yesterday in a meeting with Donald Trump, who is incredibly fond of him, that I personally think was brilliant, and we're going to give him his flowers today. Harry Enton, also known as Harry Emden,
Holy Toledo,
breaks down Mamdani's surge past Schumer and other Dems.
His latest visit to the White House yesterday, he not only pitched a massive federal housing plan for the city, but he came with props, playing directly into the president's love of building and perhaps the press, or at least attention of the press. And it may have worked. Mamdani also brought up a Columbia student being detained by ICE while he was at the White House. Trump phoned him shortly after the meeting to say that the woman had actually been released. CNN chief data analyst Harry Enton joining us now with more on the New York City mayor's growing popularity.
Yeah.
Walk us through.
Yeah, okay. You know, President Trump is not the only one who gets the vapors when it comes to Zohran Mamdani.
The vapors. He fucking emoted, too. The vapors.
Donnie, I mean, my goodness gracious, he likes popular politicians. Here's a popular politician for you. Take a look here. Mamdani's net favorable rating in New York City in September of 2025, plus 14 points. December of 2025, plus 38. Now look at this, plus 48 points. A more popular mayor to start off than either of his two Democratic predecessors, either Eric Adams or Bill de Blasio. The most popular Democrat in New York City in a generation. And President Trump, who likes to get on board with popular politicians, is getting on board right now with this guy.
Getting on board with this guy. Okay, so what about statewide?
Yeah.
What are we seeing statewide?
Okay, so you know what? A lot of Republicans are like, oh, we're going to run statewide in New York and run against Zohran Mamdani. There's a slight problem with that, and that is Zohran Mamdani isn't just popular in New York City. He's actually the most popular Democrat statewide. Take a look at this.
Vindication after vindication after vindication. How can you not be hopeful? Come on, man. Come on, man. We're winning so much. You're going to say, please, HasanAbi, it's too much winning. We don't want to win any longer. I'll say, no, we'll keep winning. We'll keep winning. We'll win so much. Oh. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. You rarely ever see the fucking theory in practice so close to the actual aftermath of the election, dude. You rarely ever see it. It's hard. It's hard for me to feel hopeless in this moment. I don't know how you motherfuckers do feel it. It's crazy.
Net favorable of New York Democrats statewide. Look at this, Zohran Mamdani with a positive net favorable rating of plus 16 points. More popular than Kristen Gillibrand at plus 12. More popular than Kathy Hochul at plus 9. More popular than Chuck Schumer at minus 7. The bottom line is this. Zohran Mamdani is the most popular Democrat in the state of New York right now. Republicans are not going to be able to run against him in the midterms because the bottom line is this. He's popular not just in his home city, but he's popular in New York State.
I will say, from my own personal experience as a content creator, as a commentator, as a out and about socialist, like, the setbacks are not real if you just fucking stick to the meat and potatoes, okay? Motherfuckers will cry all the goddamn time, every day, be like, oh, Hasan, you hate America. You said America deserved 9/11. It didn't work in this fucking election cycle with Zohran's, mayoral victory, obviously. And it doesn't even work in my situation as well. People are constantly on the fucking sidelines going, You do this, you do that, you've said this, you said that. They try to dilute the message. They try to fucking come after you, but it doesn't really matter because people still have the capacity to see right from wrong, and you have to maintain that. You have to remember that. You have to remind yourself of that reality all the fucking time. You got to stick your head down and you got to keep pushing through no matter what happens. And the results will inevitably speak for themselves. Okay? That's it. Thanks for covering the Green Party coverage. Salam Hassan. Much love from England. I finally got the Twitch app. Usually a YouTube viewer. Keep being you. This is also part of the reason why I get frustrated thinking about like the Ellison purchase, like sucking up all of these other like media behemoths and becoming this giant monster, this ultra-Zionist, pro-Trump monster. But I think to myself that there's still opportunity for people to seek out an alternative message out elsewhere, even if they don't get it from fucking CNN. Because guess what? I'm going to go back to Israel one more time. In spite of the unlimited faucet of pro-Israel propaganda, the endless contextualizations for Israeli violence against Palestinians over and over and over again, in the last 2 years, people still somehow found the truth. The truth will prevail as long as people fight for it, is what I'm trying to say. They take away your platforms, you'll use pamphlets. It does not matter, okay? People have an appetite for the truth. I think the Ellison merger would probably kill cable television and cable news before it actually made people into pro-Trump, pro-Israel weirdos. There might be some people who actually get duped along the way. Certainly, your boomer parents, right? But think about how much Edinger Menta made this point, and I know Mike from PA doesn't like him, and I know his audience gets real mad when I bring him up, but he made actually a really decent point. And that was that the unlimited faucet of pro-Clinton propaganda coming from liberal media could not get in the way of Donald Trump's victory, right? And it's true. He's right about that, you know? He might be wrong about some other shit, but he's right about that assessment, right? Donald Trump was still able to, partially because of Fox News and the very sophisticated conservative media giant, the conservative media behemoth out there, Donald Trump was able to overcome the conservative media machine initially in the primary structure, right? Everyone was out to get him. The knives were out. People were constantly being like, this guy fucking sucks. This guy's unserious. This guy's crazy. He's not a real conservative, they said, right? And he was able to overcome it. It always feels impossible until it's done.
As well.
Okay, but what about the popularity with the president? What is it that President Trump seems to like about him?
Yeah, okay. So I think what he likes about him is the fact that he is very much the type of politician who is able to attract the media attention in the same way while sticking with what he believes is right? You know, Donald Trump has always been this type of politician who goes out there, says a whole heck of a lot of things, but then is still able to maintain his base. And Zohran Mamdani is the type of guy who's been able to bring in President Trump, but also has basically been sticking to his campaign platform. I mean, take a look at this. Chance Mamdani freezes the rent.
Guys, really crazy strategy, okay? Are you ready for this? I'm really reinventing the wheel here. Create a platform that tackles some of the most important issues that people are facing and become definable by those policies. And then once you actually win, because people go, wait a minute, you want to actually serve my interests? What the fuck? I've never thought about that before. You actually fulfill those promises. You actually fight hard for those promises. You fight hard to achieve your campaign promises, and then people like you. That's right. It's a radical approach to politics. It's called democracy. I know. I often don't want to give the game away, my secrets. but kind of feels like this is rather successful, especially if you can cut through the noise. That's the brilliant part of Zohran's strategy. That the media aspect of this does matter quite a bit. I'm not just saying that because, you know, I always got to put my boys on and my ladies. But there is an incredibly hostile media apparatus. And that hostile media apparatus is still there. New York Post, Fox News, all these other outlets are attacking him viciously. There are hostile forces within the governance structure in the New York mayoralty as well. Police, real estate, big business, Wall Street. These guys also had the knives out for Zohran, and some still do. And yet, he's able to cut through all of that noise by directly communicating with the public. Okay? He's able to cut through that noise like a hot knife through butter. So it certainly does help that he's charismatic. It certainly does help that he has a fantastic speechwriters. It certainly does help ultimately that he has this consistent ideological, principled stance towards helping the working class, helping his constituents, helping the people that got him elected, right? But the media aspect of this does matter.
The thing he had run on, look at this. According to the prediction markets, the Kalshi prediction market this year, there's still an 81% chance that Zohran Mamdani actually freezes the rent. So he is maintaining his popularity citywide. You see him right here. It's been going up like a rocket. He is maintaining, in fact, being the most popular Democrat in the state of New York right here, plus 16 points. And he is doing so while also at this point looking like he is going to actually keep that big campaign promise of freezing the rent. At this point, as I said, President Trump isn't the only one who has the vapors, because the bottom line is this: a lot of New Yorkers have the vapors about Zohran Mamdani as well, as he is sticking to his quite progressive platform.
It looks like the Donald Trump-Zohran Mamdani bromance is heating up again. New York's mayor went to the White House today to discuss building more housing in New York City. And to help make his case, Mamdani brought some visual aids, like this photoshopped front page of the New York Daily News with the headline, "Trump to City, Let's Rebuild," a play off of a 1975 front page that featured President Ford. Now, Mamdani called the meeting productive, and his office says that Trump was enthusiastic about the proposal, which included building 12,000 new units in the city. The new relationship is a far cry from the war of words between the two just months ago.
He's a communist. We're going to go to a communistic state. That's so bad for New York.
And if there is any way to terrify a despot, it is by dismantling the very conditions that allowed him to accumulate power.
The Mamdani thing is it's a disaster waiting to happen.
Our city is under attack.
I think you should be more international focused than just U.S. focused, in my opinion. Okay, take an hour off and really reconsider, considering that we're on the third hour of this broadcast, and I spent the first 2 hours of this 3-hour broadcast talking about the UK Greens, and only now shifted, actually 3 hours pretty much. You just tuned in the last 12 minutes and saw me talking about Zohran Mamdani and decided, oh, this guy never has an international perspective. You can subscribe to the Piker Broadcasting Service to rewind, okay? This is one of the amenities that you get with a subscription to the Piker Broadcasting Service. If you rewind, you can actually see my commentary on all the other issues that I covered today. Be kind and rewind. The Piker Broadcasting Service is sponsored by you, the viewers, for you, the viewers. Your voluntary contributions in the form of a Twitch Prime subscription, which is free, or your voluntary contributions in the form of gifted subs or a $7 or $6 a month subscription is the only effective way to contribute to the broadcast. Okay? When you subscribe, you are keeping the lights running, but also on top of that, and it's totally voluntary. If you don't have the money, you should not subscribe. You don't really get a lot of amenities, but some of the few amenities that you do get, you can rewind on the broadcast. If you're on a desktop, you can use the emotes all around the platform. and you can send me links. No assurances that I will actually click on said links, but that's some of the few amenities that you get. Lol, you started using that PBS line after they were defunded and can't sue you for infringement, Lamau. I mean, yeah. It's true. The Biker Broadcasting Service for tomorrow's news today.
By an authoritarian Trump administration.
He's a communist. He hates police. He hates Jewish people. And yet he's got Jewish people supporting. He hates Jewish people.
If anyone can show a nation betrayed by Donald Trump how to defeat him, it is the city that gave rise to him.
I still see both Democrats and Republicans fighting yesterday's war on this. They're like still trying to make these two enemies when Mamdani and Trump are just fine working together, getting some stuff done for each other, posing for pictures. I mean, is it time to just let it go?
This is a good thing. It's okay for us to have heated debates in elections, and then Democrats and Republicans work together when the elections are over. They're not going to agree on a lot of things, but I suspect if you're...
Click on this link, it says Chepsa, and it's just a poop sock. I'm in a really good fucking mood today, but I'm still not going to click on that link.
Mamdani, and you want to have a good relationship with Trump, walking into the Oval Office and saying, let's build some buildings and do some development in New York City. That's like the number one thing that you would do to get Donald Trump excited. And by the way, it's probably a great idea. And who better to get involved than Donald Trump?
You were not a Mamdani guy, but he seems to be getting the job done.
So listen, this is the big question. Why is Donald Trump doing this? I mean, I love this idea of them working together. Why can't Donald Trump work together with the Democrats in Washington, D.C.? You have Donald Trump here, and he calls Mamdani a communist over there. He said, but I want to work together with him. Good. I like that. Why can't he work together with the Democrats? There must be something going on here.
Can I flip the question? Why can't Democrats learn from how Mamdani is dealing with Trump?
I said, I wrote
he understands the game.
I wrote an op-ed.
He walks in with a poster and a very direct ask. That's a win-win for everybody. $21 billion for 12,000 affordable homes. Trump wants affordable housing. Easy. It's easy to see how you get a deal. Should Democrats learn from that?
Yes, absolutely. I've wrote an op-ed saying, let's work together with Donald Trump. I've sent letters to the president, bipartisan letters, saying, let's make a deal on immigration to get something done. The problem is the president has not talked to any Democrats in Washington, D.C. He talked to John Fetterman once in March of 2025. He talked to Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries before the shutdown, and that's when the whole thing with the sombreros for Hakeem Jeffries. And he's talked to Schumer a couple times about the Gateway Project. He has not been talking to the Democrats. At the State of the Union the other night, I'm very well rested from that evening, but he made a...
You didn't have to stand up too much.
he made a point of saying they're all crazy, they're all sick. I mean, let's work together to actually solve some of the real problems that affect people's lives.
But how many of your colleagues didn't bother to show up at something that would have been controversial for them to show up to and express...
Low Kirk, Trump calling him a commie, then working with him just normalizes communism. GD Pond, Don strikes again. I said that as well. Like, you call Nancy Pelosi a communist, then, you know, you're disparaging communism. You call Zohran Mamdani a communist, all of a sudden people are like, maybe fucking communism ain't too bad. You know, Bravo 360, thank you for the 100 gifted subs. God damn, Bravo. Also, once again, I'm going to do a call to action that I normally don't do, but if you like the fucking soundboard, subscribe right now. If you like the soundboard in the aftermath of the 100 gifted subs that just came in, if you like the soundboard, subscribe right now or gift subs, and the soundboard will continue. If you don't like the soundboard, then don't subscribe. If you don't subscribe, I'll assume you don't like the soundboard at all. This is how democracy works now. Okay? This is just like the electoral system. Your money goes a long way here. Kind of feels like people like the soundboard. Chepsa, Chorbe, Suki, thank you for the 5 gifted. Lord, Racknor, thank you for the 5 gifted as well. God damn. Bravo 360th with another 100 gifted subs left on me with a 5. God damn. Why? Kind of feels like people are demanding this, huh?
I'm gay and Lebanese.
Trump doesn't work with the Democrats because they're all compromised and you're compromised. Why should someone take you seriously and buy your shit? Zoran ain't compromised. That's why. Wait, what? I'm compromised. I'm compromised by the Democrats because of what? Because I work with Democrats like Zohran Mamdani, who isn't compromised? How does that work? Please explain.
Some interest in at least respecting the office and respecting the institution.
Listen,
there were plenty who chose not
Villa
to.
Gilead.
I'm making a plea to the President of the United States of America.
Benton
Mr.
AC.
President, let's work together to get some stuff
Amelia.
done. Let's
Thank
work
you
on
for the 5.
affordability.
Lil B Stan, thank you for the 10 gifted. Cloud Queen, thank you for the 5.
Let's work on the things that are affecting real
Pterodactyl,
people's
thank you for the
lives in
5.
America.
Traffic Man,
And
thank you for
stop
the
all
10.
finger pointing.
Closed
I'm ready to
Presidents,
work
thank you for
with
the 100.
If Democrats could get Trump
Parky
to the
Park,
table,
thank you for the
should
20.
they?
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, Mamdani said he was working for the people of New York. His job is to get the people of New York affordable housing. If he can get that money from the president, terrific. If he can get that money from Kathy Hochul now that the federal government owes her $13.5 billion refund for Trump's tariffs, great. He's doing what he said he would do. He said he would work for the American people. He said he would work for the people of New York. And I just think people should remember that picture of Trump smiling his face off, because I've never seen him so happy, when the GOP messaging for the midterms is Mamdani and the radical left Democrats destroy America.
Well, I think that's the end. I think that's the
every
end
piece
of that
literature
argument.
that they put in my campaign.
That's probably the end of that argument today, and the end of
on
our panel discussion on this topic.
Good morning, everyone.
So, couple things. I really hope that Democrats that see this experience where Donald Trump is just fucking doing the Gluck Gluck 5,000 to Zohran Mamdani and all 16 of his inches learn an incredibly important lesson here. Of course, Democrats are devoid of the capacity to feel shame, and they're also utterly disinterested in learning any lessons whatsoever. But if they did have that capacity, they would learn a very valuable lesson here. First, they would feel shame, the shame of not doing anything, because there are New York Democrats out there that have never even made the ask that Zohran Mamdani did, which is, please release my fucking constituents. Okay? That's number one. And the lesson that they would learn is if they actually went to Donald Trump and extracted concessions from Donald Trump without really giving him anything in return, by just simply telling him, like, if you do this, people are going to like you. Turns out Donald Trump is willing to fucking play ball despite being a tyrannical fascist. Okay? A lot of establishment Democrats on the timeline have been fucking so unimaginably jelly beans, okay? Peanut butter and jealous about this experience that we all watched unfold yesterday, okay? And I was seeing it on the fucking timeline. It was awesome. Peanut butter and jealous, dude. It's shameful. I'll give you one example. I'm going to read you one example of these incredibly annoying, incredibly jealous centrist Democrats, right? Centrism fan account. Founder of People for Chelsea on hiatus. Former president of Mexico thinks taste of food, blah, 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 whatever. If literally any other Democrat did this exact same thing, this site would be full of people like Amanda saying it was proof that Democrats were capitulating to Trump, that we need to get rid of them all. But because it's their guy, it's okay to smile alongside him for the photo op. I responded by saying, incredible cope. And he said, why is your head so small? Okay. Now, what's funny about this is Democrats have been fucking pictured with Donald Trump. Donald Trump has ritualistically humiliated them. Part of the reason why is because he hates fucking losers. And many of these Democrats are fucking losers because they're centrists. That's number one. Number two, Democrats don't fucking go there with a demand that they let be known ahead of time. Okay? I know for damn sure none of them would be saying it was jaw-droppingly good. Whitmer basically did this, and many, including myself admittedly, shit on her. What concessions did Gretchen Whitmer get? The problem is, When centrists go and do this glad handling, they do it as a call for bipartisanship in the form of ceding ground to Republicans, whether that's on trans rights, abortion, or immigration, etc. They are not pleased with the fact that the only Dem capable of placating Trump is a socialist who doesn't move to the right on anything. That's it. That's it. If you go to Donald Trump and you shake his fucking hand because he's going to give another $40 billion to Israel, yeah, of course people are going to say you're a fucking scumbag. If you go to Donald Trump and you're like, we want to build housing. You love building housing. Come on, give us some money. Give us $21 million to build affordable housing units in fucking in New York. Then yeah, obviously that's a little bit different, don't you think? That's it. They cannot understand for the life of them why when they do shit, when their guys do shit, it comes across as whiny, begging. It comes across like they're conceding on key issues that are important for their fucking constituents. This is what happened when Schumer and Jeffries met Donald Trump. If you remember, he used this as an opportunity to shit on them. Chuck Schumer and Jeffries had the momentum. They had the public backing on their side. And even in this moment where they were supposed to put on a fucking strong face and put on a fight, they came into that meeting like the pussies that they are, and they got fucking humiliated for it. Zohran Mamdani came in, knew exactly how to fucking massage Donald Trump's sensibilities, came in with the fucking silly ass like Trump to city, let's build, Ford to city, drop dead. Showcasing with visual aids exactly how you can get this dumb fucking boomer on board with your message. But instead of learning a lesson, these guys are just mad. Yeah, art of the deal. I received 12,000 homes, release of constituent kidnapped by ICE, we received fake newspaper cover. It can be that fucking simple, it seems. I covered this extensively yesterday. There's obviously other forces at play here. It's like Donald Trump's own personal need for being well-liked by, you know, elite New York socialites. Like Donald Trump would love to have, the reason why he loves Ivanka more than all of his other children is not only because he, you know, has a weird sexual pathology around the whole thing, but also because she was welcomed by the elites. She was welcomed by the liberals. You know, she gets to exist in high society in ways that his disgusting male heirs and also Tiffany Trump never will. Okay? That's it. It's that simple. He is a much simpler man than we give him credit. Zohran Mamdani was embraced by the socialites. He is born into that world. Son of a famous academic, Mahmoud Mamdani, and a very, very famous director, right? Zohran Mamdani came from this crowd, won favors with this crowd. He is a representative of this crowd. And Donald Trump is so fucking desperate to be liked by the New York elite society. It's also New York City. He's a New Yorker still, so no matter how much Palm Beach has claimed him, it's also real estate, which is bread and butter. Zohran is able to appeal to both. Exactly. He fucking loves building shit.
It is truly a pleasure to be here, and I want to say thank you so much for your introductory remarks. You know, before we speak about the Weeksville Heritage Center, I want to share a few words about my recent visit to the White House. Yesterday, I did something that I am truly reluctant to do. I left New York City. I traveled down to Washington, D.C. to meet with President Trump in the Oval Office. I have said time and again that our city faces an immense affordability crisis. It is felt by residents here in Weeksville, across Brooklyn, and across the 5 boroughs of the city that we all love and call home. and is felt whenever New Yorkers try to find a place to live, go grocery shopping, put their kids in childcare, or even take public transit. Addressing this crisis was the focus of my meeting with the president. I proposed working together to build more than 12,000 new homes in our city, which will be the single largest housing development New York City has seen since 1973. The president was interested in the idea, and I look forward to the ensuing conversations about how to build more housing in a city that doesn't have enough of it. We also discussed the immigration cases I know are front of mind for so many New Yorkers. I shared my concern with the president about ICE's detention of Columbia student Elmina Agayeva yesterday morning, as well as the detention of 4 additional New Yorkers in relation to the university: Mahmoud Khalil, Mohsen Mahdawi, Yunseo Chung, and Nika Kordia. I asked that their cases be dropped. I'm grateful that shortly after our meeting, the president called me to inform me that Elmina would be imminently released, and indeed she was. Now I want to speak about the reason that we are together today.
ICE off campus, shut it down! ICE off campus, shut it down!
This morning, new questions about how ICE agents gained access to a residence owned by Columbia University to detain an undergraduate student. The university saying federal agents made misrepresentations to gain entry to the building to search for a, quote, missing person.
The agents gained entry by stating they were police searching for a missing child. They made their way to the apartment of the student they were targeting with the same story. Our security cameras captured the agents in the hallway showing pictures of the alleged missing child.
School officials said campus police intervened and demanded a warrant when the intentions of the federal agents became clear, but they say it was not provided. New York's governor slamming ICE over allegations of entering student housing without a warrant.
This is an organization that is out of control. They need to be refocused, reorganized, retrained, start over, because it's just not working.
In a statement, the Department of Homeland Security says investigators verbally identified themselves and visibly wore badges around their necks, claiming they did not and would not identify themselves as NYPD. The student, Eli Agavia, a neuroscience major from Azerbaijan, was taken into custody, posting this image saying, "DHS illegally arrested me. Please help." Federal officials say the building manager and her roommate allowed officers into the apartment. The incident unfolding as New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani met with President Trump at the White House. The mayor later...
Do you agree with the conspiracy that say Zohran denied giving the Dem response due to his impeding meeting with Trump and being harsh on Trump beforehand would compromise his aims in the meeting? No, the Democrats did not want to fucking have him deliver the response at all. Because if they wanted to go with Zohran Mamdani, and Zohran was like, oh, I have a meeting coming up with Donald Trump, I don't want to like fuck that up, they could have gone with AOC. Okay? I mean, it's delusional to assume that the Democrats don't have like a deep line of talent that they could go to, especially in the populist side of things. They just hate, they despise the populist wing of the party. They fucking absolutely despise them. They want to fucking squash it to the best of their ability. They are fearful of the momentum on our side. They abso-fucking-lutely do not want to even come out with like they don't want to ever put them on. They don't want to put our guys on ever, okay? Because they are utterly fearful. They are terrified. They're utterly terrified of the fact that if the Democrats give a larger platform to the left flank candidates, people are going to be like, what the fuck? I want that. What do you mean? I would love that, please. And of course, I'm not talking about like the Democrat Party account run by some fucking Zoomer who obviously loves Zohran and is probably like a HasanAbi head. I'm talking about the party machine. The party machine genuinely fears left flank momentum taking over the party. They have to maintain their controlled opposition stance. Otherwise, they lose all their corporate benefactors.
Posting that Trump informed him that Agayeva will be released imminently. Now free, Agayeva announcing her release online, saying, I am safe and okay, adding, I am so sorry, but I am in complete shock over what happened.
A DHS spokesperson confirms that the student was placed in removal proceedings and released as she awaits a hearing, guys.
All right, Stephanie, thank you.
Here in New York, there is anger after a graduate student at Columbia University was arrested in her apartment by immigration agents. She's now back on campus after several hours in custody. The university claims the agents lied to get into her building. Homeland Security officials deny that. Tom Hansen looks at the latest detention case at a school where other students have been taken away.
Protesters hit the streets outside of Columbia University's campus Thursday after federal immigration agents detained Elmina Agayeva, a neuroscience student set to graduate this year.
I've been friends with her for a while now, and to see this happen to someone who just wants to be here and make a better future, for herself and to brighten her future, it just...
Bro, Columbia students are just carrying this fucking institution. I swear to God. Columbia, the Democratic Party, like democracy across the board is just being carried by people who are consistently cast aside as naysayers, like by the very same institutions that they are defending. It's crazy. I cannot fucking stand what Columbia is nowadays. I want to say what it's become, but it's kind of always been this way. And judging by past incidents where, identical student movements were organized and forced the campus to make certain decisions, which the campus obviously objected to, and then acted as though they were all along, they were on the side of the students later down the line, when history vindicated them with student protest movements, anti-war movements in the past, the anti-apartheid movement in the 80s and 90s. It was fucking unbearable. It is unbearable that these guys stand in opposition to every single thing that these people are doing, these students are doing, these brave students are doing, and only to turn around a decade later and be like, we were there all along. Look, we cherish our student protesters. Fucking assholes, man.
It's absolutely devastating.
In a statement, Columbia's acting president alleged that federal agents made misrepresentations to gain entry to Agayeva's dorm around 6:30 a.m., saying they were searching for a missing person. In response, the Department of Homeland Security said the building manager and her roommate let officers into the building, adding that investigators verbally identified themselves and visibly wore badges around their necks.
Today I will be studying for my genetics exam and going through literature for my research manuscript.
Agayeva, a social media influencer with hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram and TikTok, is originally from Azerbaijan. According to DHS, she had a student visa that was revoked a decade ago, allegedly for failing to attend classes. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani posted Thursday that he had shared concerns about Agayeva's detention in a meeting with President Trump, who later...
Zohran ran on protecting trans healthcare in New York City, but so far has been radio silent at NYU Langone, and Mount Sinai cutting youth trans care. Really feels like he's turned his back on us. I haven't seen anything that he said, but people are fucking, like, not only... I don't know if Zohran himself has said anything about that. I'd be shocked if he doesn't say anything at all about it. But I know like Claire Valdez and like numerous other, like the entirety of the DSA is on that shit. The entirety of the DSA is organized around that and have been organized around that. They've been fucking lighting NYU's ass on fire. NYU also is a private institution, but you can still be the mayor and have a little bit of motion there. So
you're called to say
I don't think Zohran Mamdani has turned his back on trans people, chatter. I'm going to be real with you. Like,
she was being released from federal custody.
Now, the mayor's office told CBS News that Immigration and Customs Enforcement agreed not to move Agayeva out of New York City so she could have her day in court here. In a social media post after her release, Agayeva wrote in part, quote, "I am in complete shock over what happened. Please don't worry. I love you all, guys."
All right, Tom, thank you very much.
Yeah, also Zohran was quoted in the American Express press release, "Woke capital is so bad." Zohran Kwame Mamdani, mayor of New York City, the completion of the final commercial tower of the World Trade Center is more than an investment. It's a testament to the power of union labor and the dignity of work. This project represents thousands of good union jobs that sustain families and strengthen our communities. When we invest in New York, we must ensure that the investment flows to working people, to the carpenters, electricians, and laborers who quite literally built this city. That's how we grow our skyline and our economy at the same time, by putting working New Yorkers first. Yeah, what happened? I thought Capital Flight was imminent. What happened? American Express, we are excited to share our plans to build a new state-of-the-art global headquarters at 2 World Trade Center, reaffirming our company's deep commitment to Lower Manhattan. Where's the Capital Flight? Where is the Capital Flight? Also, this does read like, I'm not going to lie, this has a little bit of ChatGPT vibes to it. And I'm not even saying that because of the M dash. But it's always that, like, it's not just this, but it's also that. Well, not the completion of the final commercial tower at the World Trade Center is more than an investment. It's a testament to the power of union labor and dignity of work. That does kind of feel ChatGPT like. Look, I will just say this. Yeah, the contrasting statements is like the classic. The contrasting statements and the fucking M dash, it gives AI vibes. Except he also kind of talks like that. It's either ChatGPT or ChatGPT was just trained on a lot of press statements and they kind of sound like that. Are you calling our boy a bot? Zohran doesn't write all of his speeches, chat. He has a brilliant team. One that I will one day steal from under him. Not because I'm going to like run for office or anything, but he better fucking watch out. I mean, he literally sucked up half of the leftist campaign people. Fair is fair. You know what I mean? You got to spread the love around a little bit. Pay your editor. Yeah, I am notorious for not paying people I work with. Famously. Stay away from Zara. I've known Zara for longer than Zohran has known Zara. But that's not even who I was thinking of. I've known Zara for longer than I've known Zohran, obviously, because I haven't known Zohran for that long. But I've known Zara for longer than Zohran has known her as well. No, not Zara Larson, Zoran's campaign manager, one of Zoran's campaign manager. Pay your dog with pets now. Look at her paw. Look at her paw dangling off the side of the fucking bed. She is knocked the fuck out. I hate your haters so fucking much. I mean, dude, let them hate. What are you going to do? They have nothing. They got no motion.
Thank you for taking my...
Bro, they got no motion. They got no bitches. They got no movement. They got no backbone. They're literally fucking angrier than they ever have been because they have no capacity to seize on this moment. Let them fucking hate from the sidelines. You got to give them something, dude. Half of the fucking half of the fuck Hassan contingency has collapsed. That marketplace is drying out right in front of our eyes. Hassan derangement syndrome is basically established as a serious form of mental illness at this point. Because this is not even about me. Unfortunately, for a lot of people on the internet who are drama-brained, they have turned me into like a beacon of an entire fucking movement. I'm not that guy, okay? I've never said I'm that guy. I don't believe I'm that guy. But for many people on the other side, on the opposing side, they think that the only way to express your anger and frustration towards like this growing left movement which you have been blinded into hating for some fucking weird reason, is by saying, oh, this is Hassan. These guys are Hassan pilled. Hassan bad, Hassan bad, Hassan bad. The reality of the matter is I'm just one fucking person. I have a relatively sizable community of like-minded people that work on campaigns, that go and run for office, that become elected representatives. But the thing is, like, there's only so much fuck Hassan you can, repeat over and over again as your rallying cry, as your mantra, as like things are devastatingly unstable. Things are collapsing all around us. So eventually the audiences for that Hassan derangement syndrome basically turn into the people that are like, well, my fucking rent isn't getting fixed. Like, why are you constantly obsessing over this fucking guy? And it kind of feels like this fucking guy that we have been told is like the primary villain of American politics for some reason keeps, finding himself on the right side of a lot of issues. Right? You are not the movement, but I really appreciate that you cover current events. Yeah, I'm not the movement at all. I'm simply a voice. I'm one voice. I share the frustrations that you share. I have the capacity to feel empathy for those who have less, and I try to do my very best to offer a voice to people who feel like their voices are not heard. That's it.
Question.
Yes.
What is your reaction to the downgraded charge for the suspect arrested in the snowball pelting? And what do you say to police officers who are very upset about that and very upset about the incident?
I will say first and foremost that I believe that our police officers should be treated with respect. They are at the heart of delivering exactly that public safety that I was speaking about earlier. And they've also been at the heart of responding to the city's first blizzard since 2016, because police officers were not just out there continuing to do the jobs that they always do, but they also have a tow truck task force, which is one that was chiefly responsible for digging New Yorkers' cars out of the snow, of digging out ambulances, MTA buses, keeping the city moving in that manner. And for that work and everything that they do, I'm deeply appreciative. And what I've said in regards to the snowball fight is that it's a snowball fight that got out of hand, and I don't really have much more to say to it.
The charge, do you have a reaction to?
I can't believe that the snowball gate is like still ongoing, by the way. It's unbearable. Like, you are so unserious, brother and sister, and anyone and everyone in the fucking mainstream media that like is leaning into this to the best of their ability, being like, this is gonna be the real story. We'll get him. A lot of us see you as that guy, even if you don't want it. You do represent this movement. You are the largest left-wing commentator on the internet right now. I'm sorry if you don't want it. You're not the leader, but for many people, you do represent the left online. You don't control or command us, but you are a voice for us in many ways. I mean, yeah, I recognize that responsibility that I carry. I'm just saying that a lot of people on the opposite side, a lot of people who have, like, weirdly enough, placed themselves in opposition to me when they shouldn't at all, because I think that there are probably a lot of areas of agreement, have incorrectly decided that, like, everything that I'm saying is not representative of the feelings of a lot of people, but instead is just like me propagandizing on, like, hypnotizing people single-handedly. And they turn around and think like, oh, instead of attacking the ideas, I can attack the person over and over again, and this way we can just, like, get ahead of this left movement. People spend way too much time in here talking about you positively, negatively. Okay, brother, chill out. This is, like, literally 10 seconds that we brought this up. Okay,
I think you answered the question.
Yeah,
thank you. We'll go to Sam and then Dana.
George, we're going to turn now to the latest round of Iran nuclear talks amid the U.S. military buildup in the Middle East and threats of a possible strike from the White House. Chief Foreign Correspondent Ian Pannell is in the region. Good morning, Ian.
Signs of progress? Yeah, right, dude. Unless You mean like progress in the direction of bombing Iran? Because that's the only fucking progress I've seen. At least with like fucking troop movements and whatnot. I gotta pee.
Yeah, good morning, Michael. Mixed messages after a third round of talks between the US and Iran amid this massive military build-up. Iran saying the talks went well and that there'll be another round next week, but the US side remaining silent, not expressing optimism publicly or in private, and not confirming it will take part in Monday's meeting. Meanwhile, ABC News learning the top US commander in the Middle East, Admiral Brad Cooper, briefed President Trump Thursday on potential military options in Iran, according to a person close to the president. A US official confirming to ABC News before the latest talks that Iran's offering to suspend its enrichment of uranium for a limited period. But remember, the president demanding no enrichment, no nuclear program at all. And as tensions rise this morning, the US Embassy in Jerusalem authorizing the departure of non-emergency US government personnel and family members from Israel. George?
Yeah, that's quite a sign. Okay, Ian, thanks very much.
Good evening. President Trump has said tonight he's not happy with the way that talks with Iran have been going, but he still wants to secure a deal. More talks are planned next week, overshadowed by the threat of U.S. strikes. With American forces built up in the region, Britain has closed its embassy in Iran and also moved some diplomatic staff and their families from Tel Aviv in Israel. The U.S. Embassy in Israel earlier urged...
Yeah, notice how this is like the opposite of signs of progress. They're like, oh, the talks seem productive. Meanwhile, every other fucking more consequential movement is in the opposite direction of productive.
Staff to leave now if they want to, joining other nations in encouraging people to go. Let's go live now to our U.S. correspondent, David Blevins, who is in Washington. I mean, David, obviously the U.S. president has mentioned attacking Iran for quite a while now. Do you get the sense, is there a sense in Washington that things are escalating?
Well, there is one word we are hearing rather often from the president, and that is the word but. He says he's not happy with Iran, but not rushing to conclusions. Instead, he's going to wait for further discussions to take place. He says he would love not to attack Iran, but in his words, sometimes you have to. And also adds that it would be wonderful if Iran negotiated in good faith, but right now they're not getting there. That's what the president has had to say. He's on his way to Texas to take part in an energy event there. But let's just listen to what he said leaving the White House a short time ago.
Well, we haven't made a final decision. We're not exactly happy with the way they negotiated. They cannot have nuclear weapons, and we're not thrilled with the way they're negotiating. So we'll see how it all works. I guess you could say there's always a risk. You know, when there's war, there's a risk in anything, both good and bad. We've had tremendous luck with myself.
The only thing you're wrong or losing is because you are a Muslim and you talk to religious Muslims like a white man talking to a veiled woman about freedom. Lol, I think your religion is rock. Is your rock on the foot? What? Brother, do you know who you're talking to? Like, who? Do you think I'm like I'm drunk, hello, chat, vote, PCP? Yeah, you must be fucking drunk. He didn't even ping you, just doing it for the love of the game? Yeah. Motherfuckers say shit like Islamophobia was made up. Yeah, no, it's... I mean, how can you look at this situation and read it as anything but like, yeah, I see you talking, but your name is Hassan, and that's a hang-up I can't get over. It's a Canadian far-right party. Good luck to you, chatter. Like that right there is a perfect depiction of how racism is like truly a major filter, and it causes your brain to work in very unique ways. It causes your brain to like not see the information in front of you. It causes your output to reflect the output of a stroke victim, like John Fetterman or something. You know? Like, I believe in religious tolerance, but it's not a secret that I'm secular, you know? But this guy sees someone by the name of Hassan and immediately goes, oh, you want to do like forced head coverings or whatever kind of fucking fantasy he has in his mind about what it means to you know, come from a Muslim background in general. Insane.
Khomeini, al-Baghdadi, everything's worked out, and then we do the Midnight Hammer and so many others. Everything's worked out, and we want to keep it that way, but we're going to see. Look, it'd be wonderful if they'd negotiate really in good conscience, good faith and conscience, but they are not getting there.
So the President of the United States sounds like a man who is undecided right now. But of course, we've been hearing conflicting messages for quite some time. 9 months ago, he said Iran's nuclear capability had been completely obliterated. Now he's expressing concern about its nuclear capability. A month ago, he told people in Iran to keep protesting and said help was on the way. That help never arrived. And just this week...
Yeah, help is on the way. Hellfire missiles, baby. Hellfire missiles, baby. We're gonna help you guys so big. We're gonna help you guys more than you've ever been helped before. You're gonna say, please, sir. Please, please, no more help is what you'll say. And I'll say, I'm gonna keep helping you. I'm gonna keep helping you no matter what. Yeah, hellfire missiles, more like help fire missiles. Stop joking about this. 30,000 people died. Okay. First of all, that number is absolutely not correct. There is no official, with the exception of the American government and the Israeli government, there's no, like, even Western-backed NGO that has arrived at a number like that. Okay? That's number one. Number two, you're right about the second part. 30,000 people will die, probably in the first round of fucking bombing, if Donald Trump actually, you know, gets his wishes across.
In his State of the Union address, he said he needed to hear sacred words from Iran that they were not going to build a nuclear bomb. Of course, Iran has been saying that for a long time now, but there is intense speculation that a strike could be imminent because of the largest buildup of the US military in that region since the invasion of Iraq back in 2003, and because various nations are advising their diplomatic staff to leave if they have the opportunity to, while they have the opportunity to do so.
David Blevins with the latest from Washington. David, thank you.
Over the last few hours, the drums of war have been beating all the louder across the Middle East. The United States has withdrawn non-essential staff from its embassy in Jerusalem. Britain has withdrawn all of its staff from its embassy in Tehran. The Israelis reportedly are moving vulnerable patients out of some of the hospitals into safer areas. And so as we look...
This guy said, goddamn, I was a pedophile Nazi. Dude thought I was pro-Israel for a second, I think. He thought I was like, you know, one of these groypers who's like pro-Jeffrey Epstein or something.
Across the region, we can see that there is a sense...
He thought I was pro-Trump.
Something warlike is about to happen fairly soon. It might all be a bluff. Of course it might. But if so, it's a fairly elaborate bluff, because the United States has got two carrier strike groups, one, the Abraham Lincoln, south of Iran. It's got the USS Ford, the carrier strike group in the Eastern Mediterranean, and it's got bases all over the region. Thing is, it can't use most of those bases because the Middle East governments won't allow them to be used, so it would have to launch strikes from its carriers and from other bases further afield. It's even sent...
U.S. Colonel confirms the soldiers clogged the toilets on purpose? What? Who is the U.S. Colonel? Colonel McGregor just revealed sailors on board USS Gerald Ford. I don't think this is... I mean, it could be true. I just don't think that any guy on a panel like that is going to be... He's going to have the actual information. No disrespect. Also, speaking of Kirako, did I say his last name right? Ex-CIA, John... not Curacao, it's Kirako, right? Kirako. Is it Curacao? No, I don't think he says it's Curacao. I thought it was different. Anyway, he's going to come on the broadcast. He said yes. Very excited to... Kiriakou? I need to fucking figure out how to say it before he gets on. I'm so bad with that shit, though. God fucking damn it. Anyway. He's gonna... we're gonna set up a... We are going to set up a broadcast.
F-22s. This is the aircraft that they won't sell to anyone else in the world. And they've got F-22 sitting in Israel at the moment. So it looks as if something is going to happen. But although they're poised for what could be a very destructive and even a long attack, something lasting 2 or 3 weeks that would go after Iranian air defenses and then Iranian infrastructure and then maybe go after all of the regime nodes themselves, the understanding is that the Americans would probably take some losses if they did that. There would be deaths, there would be damage, they might lose some aircraft, they might have damage to ships. So the Iranians are making it clear that they could do quite a lot to make this very expensive for President Trump. And the Iranians are also indicating, of course, that they might even block the Strait of Hormuz. They could actually bring the whole world economy into their retaliation, and they've threatened to do this before. Blocking the Strait of Hormuz, 20% of global energy, mainly oil, goes through the Strait of Hormuz, and that immediately will put a strain on the world economy. Not likely that they would do that immediately, but if the Americans had a longish attack on Iran, they may well decide to do it and retaliate in general across the region. And many other countries in the region are very nervous that this might set off a really unstable sort of domino effect. So ultimately, this comes down to a personal battle between Ayatollah Khamenei and Donald Trump. These are two naturally autocratic leaders who don't accept very much advice that they don't like. And it's possible that Trump has been bluffing all the time. It's possible that these drums of war are all to increase the pressure on Khamenei. But at the moment, Khamenei looks as if he's not going to rush to do a deal. He's going to hold off on that. It looks as if Khamenei is calling Donald Trump's bluff. And if he is, then Donald Trump has got to spend the weekend making some very careful decisions. If he is bluffing, he's got to find a way out. But just maybe it'll turn out he isn't bluffing after all.
Well, here in Jerusalem, in fact, across the Middle East, there is nervousness about what happens next. Will America and Iran come up with a deal? And if they don't, and
surely Iran will retaliate this time. I mean, I do think that they will. The reason why I think Iran will probably retaliate this time is because they already did this song and dance, and they came in all restrained, and obviously when they did the restrained counter, when they did the restrained counter in the 12-day war, that didn't lead to any positive results for them. As a matter of fact, the only thing that happened was mass instability that came afterwards as well. The American government put even stronger sanctions on their economy. So I do suspect that they recognize that they're cornered. And sometimes if you're cornered, the only way you can get out of that corner is by fighting your way out. So that's my suspicion. But having said that, there is unlimited restraint oftentimes from the Ayatollah, so we shall see.
Maybe even if they do.
Retaliated with what, man? It's a suicide mission. Wait, what? First of all, the 12-day war was infinitely more beneficial for Iran than the way it's presented in mainstream news. As a matter of fact, they've come to that conclusion. They've come to that recognition. Even Western media has come to that recognition as of late when they constantly talk about how little they have in the munitions to defend Israel and to defend the American bases. Okay? Because this isn't just about being able to have tremendous offensive capabilities. America has that tenfold. America has that unlimited, virtually unlimited supply. They have 400 fighter jets. They have bombs. They can strike targets with great ferocity. This is not the issue. The issue is, in the aftermath of striking targets on Iranian soil, will Iran be able to turn around and strike back against Israel and punish Israel? Will Iran be able to strike back against American assets in the region and punish America? Will Iran be able to take out naval assets, for example? That is incredibly costly. That is what they fear. And they clearly do not have the defensive munitions to, continue a long-standing bombing campaign. What's your number of deaths? Like, what number will you start recognizing the brutality of Iran's government? Let's say 30,000 number is wrong. What do you think? 10,000 people is not fucked enough to get massacred in 1 week while they cut off access to the internet, while they kill civilians? If you can point to any moment where I have not said that this is unimaginably cruel, 10,000 deaths is not unimaginably cruel, I will give you $10,000. The fuck are you talking about? What is wrong with you? You always do this. I refuse to ban you, even though you're so fucking annoying. But like, I have recognized the cruelty of the Iranian government. What the fuck is wrong with you? As a matter of fact, that's my argument. I say, you just say the 30,000 number is wrong? No, that's not the only thing I say, except you want to present it as though that's the only thing I'm saying. I always say, even if the number is in the thousands, even if the number is 2,000, even if the number is 3,000, that is completely unacceptable. What the fuck are you talking about? That's why I said, find any moment on this broadcast where I've simply just said, oh, it's just 2,000, shut the fuck up. And I'll give you $10,000. Yeah. This was Amit Segal of channel or N12 News, who said, so you're telling me that when push comes to shove, after years of strategic alliance, the American base in Doha is packing up and moving to Israel because Qatar isn't really a partner in the effort to prevent a nuclear Iran. Who saw that coming? I cannot believe the arrogance, dude. I cannot believe the arrogance coming from any Israeli that has the audacity to say such a thing. Okay? No, I never said that. You say it like that. Language matters in this moment. Okay, stop. I don't know what you're saying. You're being silly. The sheer arrogance from Israel to say such a thing. I said, maybe they wanted to go see where all the American tax dollars for healthcare go. Like, I wonder why the American assets are moving away from Qatar and like Bahrain. Perhaps the reason why they're doing that is because the only place that they care about in the region is fucking Israel. And that's why they're moving their assets to Israel, because they know they have to defend Israel no matter what. Perhaps that's the reason. Perhaps that's the reason why everyone is moving to fucking Israel. God, the arrogance. It is unfucking bearable, dude.
Is war going to break out? So we've come here to Jerusalem's old city, a place of Roman walls and echoes of past conflicts, to ask people what they think is going to happen.
I'm expecting they're going to attack. Like probably they say a few days going to attack. So I hope okay.
You hope so?
I hope, yeah.
Why? Why do you hope?
Because Iran is, they give all the money to Gaza or the Hamas, so everything all comes from them, all the money. So I think you need them to take off the head and make a better world.
I'm not going to say anything, but it's hard. It's hard for me to not say anything, but I'm not going to say it. Listen to me. Listen to me. You do not know what you are demanding, okay? You think things will be fine. You think the Iron Dome will hold. You do not understand that there is a high likelihood it does not hold. You are begging for it, okay? You're begging for it. I don't think you also understand how the world will react to it, because if there's any indication of the 12-day war initially, if the world's reaction to the 12-day war was any indication, I don't think people are going to turn around and say, "Oh no, how did this happen to Israel?" Okay? I think there are a lot of people in the masses that will most likely look at this and go, "Well, what can we do? You begged for it, you demanded it, and now it's happening." Like whenever Israel says, "Oh, we can do this without you," I say, "Fuck yeah, dude. Please go right ahead. I mean, please try. See what fucking happens. See what fucking happens. Play stupid games, win stupid fucking prizes." It's crazy. Like, where is this arrogance coming from, man? How are you this fucking delusional? How are you this delusional? How are you this repulsive? Your ideology, so odious. Your entitlement, so irresponsible. God damn, man. Fascism is such fucking maximalist brain poison, really. Look, maybe we'll see it. Maybe we'll see the day. Who knows? The arrogance and delusion. Let's call out the bluff. Pull the THAAD batteries out. Pull 2 aircraft carriers away. Tell the Arab states that we don't care whether or not they have peace with Israel. Yeah, let's do it. Please, I beg of it. I beg for the day. Pull out of the region. Let's get our fucking tax dollars to be spent elsewhere on U.S. soil. I'm on board. Oh my God. Go ahead. Make my fucking day. This is true. Israel's already preparing for a new era in U.S. relations. There's a myth, convenient for many supporters and opponents of Israel alike, that Israel hangs by a thread of U.S. support. It hasn't been true for a long time, but arguably it never was. Take, for example, 1948 to 1967. Israel's inner strengths, sense of purpose, innovation, fertility, and... fertility. We are Israel. We fuck so much. This is why, also, by the way, notice the age demographic here. Okay, that's a very young Israeli Jew. Okay? For the rest of the world, young Jews living in the Western world are moving away from Zionism and actually becoming very woke on the issue of Israel. They're becoming anti-Zionist. Under the age of 35, when you look at like American Jews under the age of 35, there are more and more people. There is a majority of young American Jews under the age of 35 that self-identify as anti-Zionist. Okay? Israel is the exact opposite. where the younger base of support in Israel is more radical than ever before. Okay? This is why I have said before, time and time again, that Israel's future, okay, Israel's future is a nuclear-armed Orthodox state, okay, with some of the most reactionary and uneducated population that will never enjoy the academic trade, like the back and forth, the cultural exchange that Israel enjoyed for many, many years. Ever again, they will be hyper isolated. They will be angry. There is no way out of it. Okay, there is no way out of this. A punishment will eventually come. I just don't know when. At least at this point, like we're waiting. We're waiting for when it happens, but it will fucking happen because the alternative is nuclear Armageddon. You're describing Japan? No, I'm describing the opposite of Japan, as a matter of fact. What are you talking about? Israel has been able to withstand the normal like replacement rate issues that many other developed countries have because they lean heavily into their less educated Orthodox population, significantly more conservative, significantly more reactionary, straight up fucking fascist population. That's why when you look at the West Bank and the settlers, they're all so fucking young. Yeah, the demographic data on this is on my side. The next elections in Israel will have the largest influx ever of new voters. They are massively right-wing. A new poll conducted by Channel 12 shows the trend. A record 75% of first-time voters now identify as right-wing, compared to 68% of veteran voters. 49% prefer Benjamin Netanyahu as prime minister, while 24% prefer Naftali Bennett. Remember, Naftali Bennett is also a fucking fascist monster, okay? They don't even want like marginally more woke fascism. They want maximum fascism. Likud leads at 20%. United Torah Judaism is the second most popular party. The Democrats only have 5%. 80% of new voters expressing belief in God compared to 75% of veterans and 43% saying they kiss a mezuzah compared to 33% of veterans. 56% of new voters reported believing in the coming of the Messiah. 56%. They are literally, dude, it is our future if we straight up did not put a stopgap measure. Like, can you imagine America being run almost entirely by like the most rabid evangelical psychos? That's Israel right now. That's fucking Israel right now. That's what's going on in Israel. It's crazy. %46 of new voters say there was a betrayal from within on October 7th. 49% accept the prime minister's claim that cases against them are politically fabricated compared to 36% who don't. The young voters are right-wing, very religious, and love Netanyahu far more than veteran voters. The next generation will be even more so if the current demographic trends continue. Meanwhile, Benji Sarlin says, worth asking what changes this in the medium term. In the crosstabs, younger Americans are dramatically less sympathetic to Israel, but in Israel, younger voters are even more hardline than older voters. Recipe for acceleration. Where do we go from here? You know, they're fucking rabid. Schumer saying that he sees his job as making the left pro-Israel is roughly politically equivalent to him saying that his job is to make the left pro-life. Yeah. To give you a sense of how few Democratic voters are sympathetic to Israel right now, the percentage who want to ban abortion is roughly the same. Percentage who say abortion should be banned by party identification 2024, Dem leaning Dem 14%. Okay? Think about that. Think about that. It's identical. And guess what? You know who's also saying, well, we got to open up spaces for anti-abortion Democrats? Ezra fucking Klein. These guys are perpetually wrong. Where's my 10K boy? Oh, shut the fuck up. Sympathies more with Israelis or more with Palestinians. The number of Democrats that say they sympathize more with the Israelis at this point is at 17%. Of course, the main driver of Democratic elected support for Israel is not voters, but donors. 20 years ago, I used to bring up the Middle East at Democratic meetings and people would get tense. It was controversial. Now you walk into a Democratic meeting in a suburb in Marietta and 9 out of 10 grandmas will say Israel sucks. I'm not exaggerating. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes, man. I went to a fucking fundraiser, a Democratic Party fundraiser at at a Hollywood producer's house. They were Jewish. Most of the audience, most of the fundraisers were Jewish. They all fucking hated Israel. When I walked in, okay, it was all old white people. I thought to myself, oh fuck, this is like hostile territory. They're gonna hate me. They're gonna be like, why'd you bring this Hamasnik into the fold? The Barbers and the Deborahs are straight up. The Barbers and the Deborahs are straight up on that fuck Israel tip. Remember that Iron Dome failing led to a real capital flight back to Russia and New York? Yeah, we watch this shit every day live. And these are sights that we might see once again if America keeps acting up. I'm just saying, especially at a time when Israel's popularity is so fucking bad, dude. Good luck. Good luck to Israel. Good luck to America. It don't matter how many people fear Iran. It don't matter how many people fucking fear what they perceive as like the Islamist threat. People fucking hate Israel, dude, for good reason. Israel deserves all of that hatred, all of that animosity. They brought it upon themselves. Meanwhile, I can't be alone in looking at the incredible sights from the Chinese satellites. Chinese satellites basically catch deckhands picking their fucking noses nowadays. I've never seen anything like it. I didn't realize the tech had advanced that much. It's crazy. It's crazy. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, you're you don't have enough assets on top of the aircraft carrier." Like, I don't know. It seems like the left wheel is not inflated enough on your F-16 fighter jet on the left side.
Would you, if America doesn't attack, do you think Israel should attack?
Yeah, I should, yeah. If we won't attack, they will attack us.
Are you worried or not?
Not really, but it's tense. It's tense, unexpectedly. We don't know what's going to happen in the next hour. So people, some of them are really scared. But what's going to happen?
That's good. Perhaps they should voice that concern by telling the government not to pursue such exterminationist policies. Like, the craziest... This guy is Arab?
Will happen.
Well, what I hear, yes, to be honest with you, what I hear from the news, from the television, from everything, I think yes. To be honest with you, nobody like war.
That guy's definitely Arab.
Nobody like war in all the world. Because my friend, war is kill everybody. Yani, look, like Jerusalem, we was closing 3 years for the corona. We open 1 year, after the corona. We close now 2 years, when we have the war again between Gaza and Israel. The peace is the important things in all the world. The peace is the important things.
I'm not nervous or anything. I'm sitting and learning in yeshiva here. I believe in God.
Ya Allah. Is that guy Arab? What do you think, bro? No, motherfucker. That dude is from Massachusetts. What are you talking about? He's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. Yeah. Can't you tell? What is this? Iran designated as a state sponsor of wrongful detention? What? They've already designated Iran as a state sponsor of terror. What? The embassy staff still? Bro, what is this? Are they lowering the status from terrorist to wrongful detention? Also, that's crazy ironic. Especially when it's Marco Rubio, who's Mr. Wrongful Detention. He is the state sponsor of endless amounts of wrongful detention right now, including yesterday and today and will be tomorrow. Breaking, the U.S. State Department has issued urgent warnings to its citizens regarding Iran, demanding that the Iranian regime immediately release all American hostages. The department also reiterated its call for all Americans currently in Iran to leave the country without delay and strongly advised any travel against Iran for any reason. I don't even know.
And I believe that whatever he wants to happen is going to happen. And so, I think his plan's going to work. So
you're pretty relaxed.
I'm pretty relaxed.
About whatever happens, happens.
Whatever happens, happens. And it's his plan. So, whatever happens, happens.
As the full scale of Jeffrey
Is this real? What is this? Iran agreed in talks with the U.S. never to stockpile enriched uranium. Mediator Oman's top diplomat says in what he calls a breakthrough that he hopes would prevent U.S. war in Iran. Yeah, except as I talked to with Ben Rhodes last night, they keep adding additional qualifiers to this fucking mediation process because the goal of the mediation process from Israel's side is not to actually reach a conclusion. The goal is the opposite. Remember when under the leadership of Barack Obama, they did reach a conclusion on the enriched uranium process. They did. It was called the JCPOA, and it was very effective. But that wasn't actually the goal. That's why the Israelis fucking lost their minds when that goal finalized. Remember? It already happened. We've already gone through this. God, American politics is so fucking stupid because I feel like I'm just like repeating the same shit over and over again and proving it with absolute certainty. Wait, what? Was there a F? I didn't experience it. What happened? Did people... It might have been a regional thing? I don't know. Netanyahu didn't visit the White House a record 7 times in the last year to get a nuclear deal with Iran. The focus has been on regime change war with the U.S. military all along, folks. Yeah, 100%. Not only is it regime change with a military decapitation strike, most likely, with no assurances for how that regime change is going to happen. No, plan of action after that takes place, for the record, because Israel doesn't give a shit about that. They just want to destabilize Iran. But also, they don't like any pretense of deal making here is idiotic. I don't know if the Iranian government understands that reality. maybe they think that like all the American back and forth and like Trump's appetite for a clean hit and no like additional military intervention, like no commitment to a permanent military occupation is going to be the way that they get America to pull back. But like, you don't bring more than 50% of your fucking naval assets surrounding Iran and Israel to protect Israel and to attack Iran without wanting to use them. Okay? In this moment of high tension, Secretary Rubio is not planning to take reporters on a trip to Israel in a rare break with decades of precedent for secretaries of state. Personally, I've always found that the State Department correspondents are well informed on the details of complex national security stories they cover and uniquely able to handle the nuance of sensitive diplomacy. It is a loss for all of them shut out. This is a very critical trip ahead of the U.S. potentially going to war with another country, either directly or indirectly, says Rana Natour from Al Jazeera Fault Lines. And now Secretary Rubio is saying he won't take any U.S. press with him. Interesting. None of it actually means good. Like, none of this actually gives me confidence that America is invested in reaching a reasonable conclusion. I think all of this spells that they are trying to go to war. The movement of all of these assets, Marco Rubio coming out with a new designation for Iran today. You don't bring all that firepower into the region if you're not going to use it. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when at this point. And it is absolutely because Israel wants it, for the record. 100,000%. If this is accurate, it seems pretty hopeful as long as Trump is willing to solely focus on the nuclear issue and ignore Netanyahu's demand that the deal also include limits on ballistic missile support proxy groups. Yeah. What are they going to fucking false flag Marco Rubio to justify a war? What the fuck is this shit? No, they're not. Marco Rubio is their champion, dude. He's their fucking loyal servant. So I don't think they would go that way.
He needs to resign.
Meanwhile, if you're wondering like why Democrats are still rerouting AIPAC donations to different candidates, let's take a look. We have the I've had it ladies once again popping off on Hakeem Jeffries, saying that they're like AIPAC compromised.
Hakeem Jeffries is compromised and he needs to resign. Serious members of the Progressive Caucus have got to quit playing patty cake with this guy. He is a corporate Dem through and through, and he is a fascist collaborator. There's no question that Chuck Schumer is as well, but we will not retain our democracy with the Democratic Party taking money from Palantir. We are not going to retain our country with the Democratic Party taking donations from AIPAC. The corporate Dems are controlled opposition. Chuck Schumer is controlled opposition, and it gets worse, you guys. It gets worse. Pop this up. Matthew Eadie recently discovered how AIPAC is hiding its donations using 3 campaigns for, you guessed it, Hakeem Jeffries, aka AIPAC Shakur. I created a graphic to help you understand how the secret campaigns are structured and why you won't be able to see AIPAC and FEC filings, but AIPAC will still be able to track donations through unique IDs and show candidates how much their network has donated to buy pro-Israel votes. And here is the graph. You can see it here, AIPAC. And then we have the Democracy Engine. 3 of these that are funneled through Hakeem Jeffries. So let's review here. Keep this up. Hakeem Jeffries is Palantir first. Hakeem Jeffries is Israel first. How can Hakeem Jeffries care about immigrant children when he doesn't care about Palestinian children, and he takes money from a genocidal government that's ran by a war criminal, a far-right fascist war criminal, Benjamin Netanyahu, that funded Hamas. And then you see all this money they're filtering in to candidates. And so here's how it works, you guys. AIPAC directs its donors to the pro-Israel network website via email campaigns. And then the pro-Israel network uses Democracy Engine as its payment processor. That's AIPAC Shakur, that's Hakeem Jeffries. And then donations are recorded as individual donations from Democracy Engine. In the back end, each pro-Israel network campaign is recorded with a unique ID. The Democratic Party cannot be for a blank check to Israel, who is run by a war criminal, Benjamin Netanyahu. We cannot be this party. This is a uniparty. Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer are controlled opposition, full stop. They take money from MAGA donors, and then they get on camera and lie to the American people. And you might say, Jennifer, quit browbeating Democrats. I can get on here all day long and I can browbeat Republicans, because tomorrow Trump's going to do something more illegal, more unethical. He's going to cover up more child rape stuff from the Epstein files. It's going to happen every single day.
Kat Abou-Ghazalek says she would defend Taiwan militarily.